Yeah, today is July 3rd. Okay, this is 1 day scale Bitcoin. What does it look? How does it look? Okay, so this has been moving under this descending channel because there was a dip, but more or less, this is a range S4. If you look at again, it has been following technicals. Last week we saw, like, we were here, right? Somewhere here. So it got a bounce from, for earlier it got a bounce from S6, then went up all the way to S4.2, then came down, got a bounce from this red line. I don't know. Yeah, we had this red line. Oh, this is from May 19th. Yeah, this is May 19th low, and then it got this one, and then again it got rejected by 4.2, interestingly. Then I gave this one as a potential bounce. This I like it. I had shared this on Discovery earlier. Yeah, and so this is a little retracement. And last night I was little skeptical, to be honest. Skeptical in a sense, in my absence, before I went offline. I was just, because this, to me, this drop was not a concern to me when it recovered this one yesterday. And this candle was developed in last few hours. Beginning of the day it was somewhere here below S4 or 3, and this is where I went offline. And I was little skeptical, not from a crash point of view. I mean, not thinking about a crash and all, but I was thinking that uh, the day didn't start well. I mean, first few hours, I wanted what we see here. I wanted to see this in first 3 4 hours actually. And when I saw it went below this 4.3, I was just skeptical in a way that why it didn't move, because it was such a, this was a nice bounce. So this, when it stopped here, I liked it because I knew this is where it will react. And when I saw this move, then I said, okay, this is a good thing, though there was not a major gain, I was saying. Then the new day, July 3rd, the day started and it started coming down. Then I didn't like it and I was going offline, and I saw, you know what, next day morning I was so curious that what it's going to do. Yeah, but my last post was indicating that it was like there was a curve, there was a rounding up and consolidation. But back in my mind, I was open enough to say, okay, now it might make another low, and then who knows, somewhere here it might come down. And but when I saw this is stabilizing here in the morning, I said this is what I wanted to see in next first 3 4 hours, which we saw in last 3 4 hours. I wanted to see the first 3 4 hours when the day started. Okay, but anyways, that was, I'm just sharing what was going on in my mind. Right, so that's why this 24-hour thing is crazy. This is really crazy, not easy, because you're going to be offline for a few hours, and even 1 hour is good enough to change the scenario sometimes, especially during this time, not when it is uptrend. Under uptrend, this is like a time where it is like in middle of the sideway movement, and you can imagine this is like midway, right? This is your high end, this is low end, and this is mid end, I mean mid level. And in 1 hour if it drops, it changes the whole balance. So that is main reason. If it was here I would not think that way. But if it is here, then of course I had one quick drop up to this would change the balance. That's why I was little skeptical that why it didn't move up and then started little dipping. That's the state of my mind. That was my, yeah, state of my mind. So anyways, so this is pretty good, and what I'm seeing here is I think we don't have to worry at all at this moment. This it's utterly boring. It's, I mean, I cannot imagine uh, everyone's emotions at this moment. I mean, there is no way to justify that why it is happening to us. That kind of question comes to our mind, that when this is going to come out of this mess, because this range is a mess, let's say, and everything in this is noise. Now it is just playing around like from here, and this is like ping pong, right? Like a ping pong game. So we want this coin, sorry, price, to be somewhere here. We want this to break above S4. Okay, and I think I projected by July 2nd to July 4th it will be here. I think timing wise it has delayed a bit, but point is, if it continues moving up, then if not July 4th, now July 6th or 7th, it should be somewhere here. So I see there's a delay because of this detour. So many times there are I mean, timing is difficult. The pattern changes the time. Levels are not levels stay this, I mean, doesn't change. So that's why the levels are still working. The time dimension changes with the pattern, so one has to understand that fact, that we have to be open enough in terms of when I that's why I don't give timing usually, because the pattern changes the timing. So here 2 days of downside change the timing. However, it doesn't change the overall direction, it doesn't change the scenario. The trend is up, and it doesn't change my stand that way. And all these levels are relevant. The price level are relevant. Only thing is, when the pattern changes or pattern deforms sometime or extends, then it changes the timeline. Anyway, but I gave the date just to get some kind of goal as such, not as a certain time window. So I still believe that if it continues like this, if there's no further detour, then on 7th or somewhere like that, yeah, July 7th, it should be near this level. And I think we are waiting for this to come out of S4. So this is very encouraging, as you could imagine, because it's totally not, I mean, not giving up, making higher lows, which is good. This is a low, this is another low, this is low, and then now it's moving up. So now if you simple, I mean, you can just simply draw a line like this and say now this is moving at this angle, considering this low. And what we want is we want it to stay above this orange line and continue moving on the upside, right? A tall candle will help. And we want to also get out of this S4.2, because here it blocked it. We want it to break above. So if it able to break above 4.2, I think maybe then it will react again, because it always react here and then should go up. But if it comes out of this level, in my point of view, I would say the same as I think I mentioned earlier as well. Then we have a clean path, because it cannot just keep on going. I mean, I haven't seen this for weeks or months. I mean, that would be crazy. We'll see. But if this price, if the price could land here, I don't think then we have to think about downside, statistically, historically speaking. Okay, whatever I have seen so far, if this coin could, if the price could land here, then the next stop is this, not this. That I can tell you from whatever I have seen, right? So all this is like frustrating, noisy, can't do anything about it. Yeah. But one thing is good, that we are not talking about downside, we are talking about upside. Okay, it just matter when it gets a pump. Okay, but even if it doesn't pumps and keep moving steadily, it is going to give enough room for alts to grow, in my opinion. Because what alts doesn't want is the drop from BTC. Alts are totally fine when the BTC moves slowly. In fact, it prefers. So slow uprise is okay for alts. What it doesn't want is the downside move. Anyway, so that's BTC. I'll hide the drawing and see how it looks like for clarity. Yeah, this is how it looks like. Mm, so that's why if once it enters here, you see the balance will change. Right now it is in middle, actually little lower than middle, but not that bad. And we want it here. Ideally, we want it here, right? This is our level. And once it is here, then we are talking about higher high, which makes sense. And I don't believe this head and shoulder is actually happening. Okay, this is a head and shoulder, but the out I don't see it is going down at this moment. To me, once this price goes in here, this is going to break the head and shoulder pattern. In fact, in my opinion, it's too early to call out, but this rise that you see has broken the head and shoulder pattern. Means the head and shoulder pattern says this will break down when the right shoulder completes. In my point of view, this particular drop was supposed to go down as per the head and shoulder, but when you saw this one and then again a rise, and now what you see here, it is now preparing to like recover like this. And if this continues, I don't want to just declare yet, because I want price to be here. But if you ask me, this move was the most important one. And then this is also equally important. This is just telling us that no, this structure is not going down but up. That's why, to me, I would say I need a confirmation. But for me personally speaking, this head and shoulder is not happening, right? But from a TA script point of view, I want to see this Bitcoin above 42K just to confirm it. But this is an indication that it's not going down. So I think that is good enough. Let's see on a weekly scale. Yeah, how chaotic it is, right? Weekly is so chaotic. Look at this candle. I mean, this is the only good candle, a promising one. And then after having a promising candle, it got an ugly one. Yeah, so this week is ending with a like neutral candle, like there's no body. Because like today is Saturday, we still have one more day to go. Who knows, if it pumps and turns green, then it's a different story. But yeah, this was a good one. So these 2 weeks were like totally indecisive. This was like negating this earlier one, and this was scary. So the my point is, if it had to go down, it would have gone down here, but it didn't. And now this is stabilizing. So this one is also not trying to come up here. So and then it is now moving up on a 1 day scale, as you say. So if in next 1 day it continue moving up, then we are talking about upside, not the downside. So that's my take. Monthly, we just have a quick look. I don't think monthly, the way I see here is again similar thing. See, this was ugly one. Okay, this is a sign that it doesn't want to go up, right? This is topping out. This was a drop. And then this candle was the most important one in my point of view. And it made a new low, but not a significant low, right? For a couple of thousand, 20, 30 to 28K. and went up. This bounce was good actually. Not the perfect one, but it just an indication that okay, it's I'm not staying in near 30K. I want higher. So when it put and moved all the way to 42K and closed near 35K, it was a good sign. And now in last 3 days, it made a little dip. I mean, it dipped a bit, but not deep enough, not even close to May 19th. And now it is rising, and who knows, as I said. So this is a sign of recovery. If you look at this, is curving, like this is banding on upside, like what you saw was like a band on the top. This is like band on the bottom. So here, this is high, this is high, this then it was like topping out like this, and now I see it is bottoming out. Yeah, what we don't want this price near this region. So if it does, then we are done. Then this is at risk. So what we are here, we don't have to think about downside, no need to. So we'll think about downside only when it breaks below 31K. So preparedness point of view, we have to be prepared, right? Because we want price to be somewhere here above 42K, because then it will be totally a green candle. Yeah, and much further away from the bottom, right? So I think we are thinking of the conclusion is we are looking, this is a sign of bottom. And as I always say, bottom is always retrospectively known, but this is a sign of bottom. As we had seen a sign of top here, we are seeing a sign of bottom here. Price over here will say okay, now we really bottom, and then price will somewhere here will say we are going to fly. Yes, it's as simple as that. And a price somewhere here will say okay, now this is likely to go down. I hope this will make very clear. So here we have to manage risk. Here we can say okay, we're not worried at all. Here also this is like positive to me, but more like neutral at this moment. But above 42K, we are talking about okay, forget about the downside. And when we cross the 42K, or so 48K, we're talking about higher level, which is like 100K, something like that. Okay, so that's so simple, isn't it? So we end this session with this note.